Hi everybody. Forgot. Okay, we're back. Hi everybody. So this is Dr. Lewis at Coastal Wellness in Lisbon, and we're going to talk today about a question that we got that sent in something along the lines of, I have hyperlordosis and I'm wondering how I can change that because it's causing me pain or something like that. So this is a very common question. Sometimes people have been told that the reason for their back pain is because of their hyperlordosis. And a hyperlordosis, now I'm going to explain this briefly. We have a number of different normal curves in the spine. A lordosis in the cervical spine, which is basically just a curve in this direction. So this is the frontal part of the body, posterior part of the body, or dorsal side. And we have a curve in the neck, which is called lordosis, a thoracic curve, which is called a kyphosis, and we have a lumbar curve, which is called a lordosis, and then we have a pelvic or a sacral curve, which is also a kyphosis. So sometimes we can have accentuated amounts of this. So everybody's shaped slightly differently, and we can have slightly more anterior pelvic tilt, slightly more lumbar lordosis. So this kind of a posture, a little bit more in curve. And these people that have this, scooch back here so I can still be seen, will often look kind of like they're sticking their butt out, sort of like that. Now, there's a very common question is, how can I change this? But I want to caution you against necessarily focusing on this. So the way I handle this is hyperlordosis hasn't been associated with necessarily more pain, more problems, or anything like that. I approach it the same way I would approach any other issue. So I just want to look at that area of the body. If they're having pain or dysfunction in that area, do we have sufficient amounts of mobility in that area? Do we have sufficient amounts of strength? And what are the things that could be contributing? So we're just going to approach this ruling out any serious issues and then evaluating that person on an individual basis. So I can't say that one person that has hyperlordosis is guaranteed to have X and X and X problems, but if they goes along with, just like anybody else, restrictions through the spine, lack of strength and mobility, or if they have any kind of other postural deviations or things that are brought on by their habits, then we might be more concerned about what's going on with them, except it's not necessarily because of the hyperlordosis. So we don't want to get too caught up in the fact that you have one posture or another, because there's plenty of people living with those postures, hyperlordosis, hyperkyphosis, whatever, that do not live with pain. So it's a little bit more complex than that. So I want to caution you against focusing too much on a certain type of posture and more on how much function you have, or can you move well? Do you have enough strength for the demands of your life? And yeah, we're going to move on from that point. So just to say, kind of want to dispel the myth that hyperlordosis is the cause or contributing factor to back pain. And if you have it, that's something that you need to focus on changing. That has just not been proven in any significant way in research and in my practice as well. I never noticed this to be guaranteed to cause any significant issues. So hopefully that was clear enough for everybody. And yeah, keep sending the questions. Have a good week and all the best.